Alrighty. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. And we're going to have a lovely time, even though it's a little bit cloudy out in the wheat belt. Well, we've done pretty well so far. I think this is the very first cloudy night we've had for a good couple of months. So I wish I had that. Wish we had that at the very start of doing these live streams. I think the very first 5 were actually all cloudy, so we had to do some stuff. But hello, guys! Welcome to the virtual star party for the 3rd of July, the first of the new financial year. And we've already got a few people here. We've got Belly, Mel's has returned. Got Any Soup has joined as well. Do we have any others signing here? Evening, guys.
It's good having a Discord chat going, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. Just wish it would work properly in OBS. But if this is your first time joining us tonight, welcome. Or if you're looking at this on after the live stream, thanks for joining. And if you have any questions, you can ask them in the Discord channel there, or even after the live stream. If you've got any questions, you're more than welcome to put them down there as well, and we'll answer them during the week.
Matt, for the sake of the people who are joining first time, we should introduce ourselves. I'm Roger Groom. I volunteer at the Observatory a lot and run Astrophotography Australia. And Matt's on the other end. Yes,
I'm Matt Woods, and I'm the tour administrator and volunteer here at Perth Observatory, and we will be your guide through this wonderful universe that Earth exists in. So thank you very much for joining us, and we're going to show you some cool stuff tonight, particularly in the Sagittarius arm of the galaxy, or the Emu in the night sky. We're going to show you some wide field images that Roger's taken, and Roger's also got a story of what he discovered today as well. And it's not all good.
It's not the kind of discovery which you really want. You know, there's good astronomy discoveries like I discovered a comet. That's not today.
No.
A different type of astronomy discovery.
But first, we're going to do a thank you. Thank you very much to Shane for being our very first patron. So Shane, we've got some money. We've sent out the package for you, so you've got some cool stuff heading your way. And thank you very much for thinking that we're worth actually paying to see as well. So thank you very much for becoming a patron, and hopefully you'll be the first of many. So yeah.
It's funny, Matt, because I thought it was actually I subscribed to some other shows on Patreon, and I thought I should just dish a few dollars into Perth Observatory, but I'm glad I didn't now, because I don't want to be the first.
Lovely.
So now that Shane's on board, I might get on board as well.
Yep.
Because donating hundreds of hours of time as volunteers each year isn't enough for us. We donate money too.
Yes, yeah. We've got to get our month. Yeah, actually, hopefully you've got your volunteering hours all up to date. So I got my
Right.
I put all my hours in for the last financial year, and again, I was a little bit amazed how many hours I actually did. So, yeah. All right, Roger. What are we looking at here?
We're looking at M6, the butterfly cluster. It's an open cluster towards the centre of the Milky Way there.
Yep.
From our perspective, and looking at it tonight, this is a live image, so we are getting some starlight tonight.
The cloud hasn't
you
covered
can
over.
see a bit of the. Yeah, we can see a bit of a halo. Maybe it's not as obvious in the live stream, but you can see a bit of a halo around these brighter stars, and that's because of the cloud coming through. But to be honest, considering what it looks like on the cameras of the outside of the observatory, I'm pretty darn impressed that we've got some stars there. So it is interesting that with these open clusters, when you go to actually photograph them, it's not always bad having a bit of a cloud, especially with dish SLRs and sort of single shot color cameras, where if you're just doing really simple astrophotography, you just want to take a 30 or 60-second shot of this thing and you just want a nice color image. If you do that, it's very easy for the stars to just float out to white. And if you have a bit of thin cloud around, you actually get some nice diffusion around the stars, and that actually creates a nice color halo around the stars and actually gives you more nice retention of color around the stars. So cloud isn't all bad for these objects, but in this case, I'm using a mono camera. I was going to do LRGB tonight, but everything has gone wrong. And so I'm just sticking with keep it simple, stupid.
Yep.
And hence I have just mono tonight.
Yes. Yep. So you can actually kind of make out the butterfly there. It looks like the head, the body, and is going from top right to top bottom. Bottom top left to bottom right, and then the actual wings.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I have to be honest. I've never actually seen a butterfly in it, but I can. You
can just make
it's
it out.
facing up, isn't it? We've got like an antenna there and an antenna there.
Actually, I was
wing
thinking,
out this side,
yeah.
Wing out that side, and then actually no, it's a fairy almost.
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking it's going the other way. So if you go back and forth, so. Yeah, and then to the bottom left. No.
Bottom left.
Yep, yeah. So go back and forth that way. That's the wings, and then the actual other way is the the other. If we're looking at a cross, go top left, top right. Yep,
Yeah.
That's the body. I think that's what it looks
Oh,
like.
right.
So either way,
Well,
it looks something. Yeah.
There you go.
Remember,
These things are very
remember they were drinking alcohol because water wasn't safe when they to drink back in the day. So yeah. But it is
Have you got?
What?
Have you got a description of what the butterfly cluster technically is, other than my very astrophotography?
Well, it is in the tail of the scorpion, so Scorpius. So if you go out and have a look in the night sky, and we'll pull up Stellarium so that you can see it, and we're coming from the south, where there's Carina. There's Centaur. There's the lovely Southern Cross, and right there in the center of the galaxy is the Scorpius. And where we're looking is actually just about here. So we've got the Ptolemy's cluster. Now Ptolemy's cluster is pretty cool to see, but you do need it's best to see it in binoculars. And then this is where we're looking right here, the butterfly cluster right there. So it's a pretty easy. You can actually see these with the naked eye. It's here in the hills, so you don't have to go too far out of Perth to actually see them. But they are an open star cluster, so they're very, very young stars. And I'll just put it back to Roger's screen so we can see them.
I've actually got.
I've
decided to get ready for the next object.
No worries, that's okay. And so these guys have been very young stars. So they've formed from a nebula, and then they're about toddler age, really. So they're about 16,000 light years away from us. So when we were seeing those stars in Roger's photo, we were seeing them as they were 1,600 years ago, and it's 12 light years across by about 25 light years across, and they have about 80 million stars. 80 stars in the cluster. So it's a nice little small close cluster to Earth, and they're about 100 million years old. So think about toddler to primary school age for stars, and most of the big, bright, visible stars are hot, young blue giant stars as well. So they will have all formed from the same molecular cloud, and that's where we get it. So it was discovered by Giovanni Hudinara before 1654. But his data wasn't found until the 1980s. They think it might have been Ptolemy who would have seen it next to Ptolemy's cluster, who the Ptolemy's cluster is named after. But it was also independently discovered by Philip de Cheze in 1745-46. So back in the day, they didn't have the internet, so took a little bit of time for everyone to be able to see, to get their findings out. So, but it is a lovely one that we show on the night sky tours, and it's a really nice example of a star cluster.
Matt, if you want to switch back to my screen, I've actually found a wide field shot which includes the butterfly cluster.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
As you were talking, I just remembered how this cluster actually looks really nice in amongst the star field of the general Milky Way. And so it actually suits really well to like this short telephoto or 50 mil through 100 mil kind of shots.
Yeah.
This was taken with a 17-40 at 40 mil, I think it was. So full frame camera, I think it was then, and about 40 mil focal length. And so you've got the butterfly cluster.
That's Ptolemy's there, I think, is it? Yeah. Oh, there. No, that is. Yep. And then there's Ptolemy's up the top.
No one there. Have I got them around the opposite way?
Yeah. So the top one is the butterfly, and then Ptolemy's is slightly down. Yeah, there. And then the bright stars you see are the stinger for Scorpion and the tail as well. So it's the good thing about the Scorpion is that it's one of those constellations that actually looks like what it's supposed to be. So, and if you've seen Disney's Moana, it is the sea hook as well in Disney's movie Moana. So,
I noticed also up here in the centre of the frame, we've actually got a little hint of the Cat's Paw Nebula.
Yeah,
which I don't remember noticing that. So that's another one which we'll have to.
I think you've also got the lobster cluster as well.
Oh, okay, I'm not sure which one that is.
That one there, yep. And then the other one would be the Cat's Paw, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, Cat's Paw's there.
Yep.
The Cat's Paw's distinctive by that pattern that you have there.
Yeah, the cat's print.
Very good.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for showing that, Roger. And you can see the actual that cloudiness there is the actual galaxy. That's the Sagittarius arm of our galaxy, and the brighter areas is actually the light pollution coming from the center of our galaxy. So yeah, it's always good to see photos, wide field photos of the Sagittarius arm.
Yeah, well, it's good to put objects in perspective, isn't it? It can be very, very hard to sort of you see these objects in photos and you go, well, what is that, like that bit of sky, or is it like you just don't know.
And it's one of the things that is you've got to take into consideration when you're doing a night sky tour as well, making sure that you've got some perspective of the object. You don't just have the object so that when you look in the eyepiece, it just completely covers everything. You give it a little bit of border and presentation around it so people get to see it. Oh, that's nice as well.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean for that to actually come up over the top of the object we're talking about, but that's actually the Wishing Well cluster.
Near the Southern Cross.
Anyway, one for another time. You can tell that I was searching through my Lightroom catalogue for the word cluster.
All right, so shall we go to M8?
Yeah, do you want to explain a little bit about the Maiden and where it is while I get things organised on my phone?
No worries. All right. So we're still staying in the general vicinity of the Sagittarius arm, but we're moving slightly down. And so where we're going to be looking next is right here. So this is M8, the Lagoon Nebula. And we've also got the Trifid Nebula there as well. You'll be able to show both of them, won't you, Roger?
I hope so, Matt.
Yeah. No worries. But yes.
Yeah, look at something of them.
So the Lagoon Nebula is an emissions nebula. So this is where the gas is actually glowing from radiation of the coming from the large stars. And they're actually in the Sagittarius constellation. So we've got the Centaur with the bow, and you've also got another Centaur with a spear. So Centaur is the Centaurus is the Centaur with the spear, and Sagittarius is the constellation. Is the Centaur with the bow. So we call Sagittarius the Archer. And so we've got a question. Is it trying to find the Lagoon Nebula for ages? Yeah, so it's pretty easy to... Well, it's not easy. It's not one of those ones that is going to be naked eye. It's with bigger telescopes, you'll be able to see them with it. But it's actually the Trifid Nebula, which is a lot easier to see because it's both a reflection and an emissions nebula. It's reflecting light from stars in the center, but some of that gas is also glowing because of the radiation as well. So yeah. Yeah,
with regard to seeing it in the night sky, I find with the lagoon that if I'm under reasonably dark skies, and I find the Perth Observatory sometimes on a good night and otherwise in darker conditions, if you look up to that central vague region of the Milky Way, I often look for a wide field object to photograph, and I invariably land up on the lagoon because when you look at the dark bit through the middle of the Milky Way central bulge, the lagoon does actually, that patch of nebulosity and stars with it sort of does show up as an isolated little object.
Yeah.
So it's something which I think is achievable to star hop to. Star hopping is a great way to find your way around the night sky if you just have binoculars and a planetarium app or a star chart or such, and find the bright objects in Sagittarius and work your way there from Scorpius, because you've got the sting and it's so easy to identify, and then sort of going, okay, I know that star, I know that one, then that triangle there, and you sort of work your way. And I think of all the ones, Lagoon is reasonably easy to do that with especially with binoculars.
So we're looking at your screen now, Roger. That's
okay. Yeah. I thought I'd show this one just because it's different. So everyone's seen fantastic, nebulous images of the Lagoon Nebula probably, and I stumbled upon this one when I was finding archive images tonight. And this is actually as the Lagoon Nebula was rising in the east. I think it was only a year or so ago, and you've got the silhouette of trees in the foreground.
Yeah, it's nice.
Wow, it puts some scale on it again. A bit different. That image is raw. That's the raw image straight out of the camera. I haven't done a single thing to that. That's why you've got some horrible shading around the edges. Actually, maybe it's no. I think it's raw. Yeah, it is raw. It's just one shot, and you've got that blue color because I'm guessing there was a little bit of a moon that night or something to give a bit of blue to the sky. But yeah, I thought I'd just show that one because it's interesting to give some perspective. The lagoon is quite large physically, sort of apparent size.
Yeah.
So there is that, and then let's see what else I've got here.
Don't worry,
probably one of my favorites.
When Roger gets his hands on, gets it into Lightroom and picks it in sight, it'll look like there was no moon whatsoever.
Yeah, Well, it's pretty easy to get rid of the moon effects, but yeah. The rest I don't know.
People have to realise that women's magazines get a whole lot of crap for touching up their photos. Astrophotography takes it to the next level. So.
No, I disagree, man. I strongly disagree.
Maybe it's just my photos then.
Yeah, maybe it's just yours. I would say that astrophotographers on the whole are extremely picky about trying to balance their colours and their images as accurate as possible. Well, I suppose to be fair, there's a distinction, right? There's a distinction between the artistic nightscape photographer and the telescope deep sky astrophotographer.
Yeah.
Bringing up the issue of colour balance and how to get correct colour balance in an astronomy forum on the web is a bit like talking about religion or
politics.
It just goes on.
Look at the massive debates they have when they come up with what the filters they're going to use for space telescopes. People literally bring weapons to the. Yeah.
So anyway, on my screen here, I've got one of my more favourite images of this object, and I apologise for not finding a higher resolution image of it at short notice. But the reason I like this one is because we've got the lagoon in the centre here. We've got the Triffid down in the right here, and this might be the best shot I've got for you for the Triffid. We'll see, Matt. And then over on the left here, we've got a surprise object of Mars. So Mars isn't obviously always there or usually there, but it was happening to move through the Milky Way at this particular time, and so the trio made a nice view like that.
Yeah.
So I quite like it for that. And then I've got another one here. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. So this is M8 Lagoon again, and this is using a Canon 6D Mark II. I borrowed one to test it out from Camera Electronic. They kindly lent me one back when it was first released. And actually, sorry, this is with the Fuji. The reason I've got confused is because I took two. Let's see. Here we go. Can I do this and this? Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So on the left is the Canon 6D Mark II shot, and on the right is the Fuji X-T2. Now, the Fuji...
it just does nebula so wonderfully.
It does nebula wonderfully. It really does. It has a bit broader spectrum than the Canon dish SLRs, other than the Astro ones. And so you get more nebulosity, you get more definition in the hydrogen alpha regions. And I find, to be honest, I just get better color balance and less of the bad kind of noise. This one on the right is the Fuji X-T2, and the one on the left is the Canon 6D Mark II. I can't say they're both processed identically. It's very hard to do that, but they're as close as I could practically.
Yeah. It is a lovely nebula to see, and it is about just over 5,000 light years away from us. So we see that light was captured, left that nebula 5,000 years, just over 5,000 years ago, and so it's 110 light years across by 50 light years across as well. So it's a decent sized nebula, and you could see that from that nightscape photo that Roger did with it coming above the horizon with the trees there, and there hasn't actually been any mention of this nebula until about 1654, and it was Giovanni Hurardini who actually discovered it. But it is mostly hydrogen, and it's much of it is actually ionized, so heated or energized, and the actual radiation from the nearby superstar Herschel 36 is producing a lot of that radiation as well. You can just see up to the top middle area there is a open star cluster called NGC 6530. And those stars are only a few million years old. So think of not toddlers, just borns really. And it's home to about 3,500 stars. So it's going to make quite a lot. They're very, it's quite a lot of stars for a big nebula to make. So the actual center nebula is called the Hourglass Nebula, and it's very young as well. They think it's about less than 10,000 years old. We're seeing so, and it's one of the finest and brightest star-forming regions in the night sky, and it actually contains quite a lot of block globules. So we're seeing protostars actually forming at this time as well. So, and it's about, to put it into perspective, it's about 3 times the size of a full moon as well. So, and there's the name, the lagoon, doesn't come from some mythical origin. It's not, named after a special lake or anything. They think what it looks like. It looks like the central bar across is like a sandbar, and it's got on either side two lagoons. So, and also just Roger, it did feature in Ronald D. Moore's Battlestar Galactica in 2004 in episode 2. So it was.
I have to bring in the sci-fi, don't you?
I know. It was identified as a guide to Earth. So yeah.
Look, if there's any sci-fi you want to bring in, I guess Battlestar Galactica is one of the vaguely acceptable ones.
Yes, especially the Ronald D. Moore episodes. So, but it's actually I just watched a couple of months ago the documentary on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and I didn't realize that Ronald D. Moore actually got his start on Star Trek Next Generation, and then was one of the main writers for Deep Space Nine before he did Battlestar Galactica. So he definitely did, and some of the best episodes had been actually written by him as well. So yeah.
Too much sci-fi, Matt.
Yeah. Well, look, it is best seen in July to October as well. So yeah. Alrighty then. So, did we want? We've had a number of weeks. One person in particular has been waiting, I think, a month to see this object, and we had to keep on telling him it was. Unfortunately, it was too low in the night sky. And then when I was doing it last time, we had a full moon in the night sky nearby, and it just looked horrendous. So, do you want to go to the Eagle Nebula, and we can see some.
I was trying to photograph the cloud.
Yep.
And I was failing. So I've just gone off to quickly try a little refocus through the cloud, and see if I can get a shot for you.
The good thing is that it's.
Yep. Just give me a second to start that up.
All right, no worries. I'll move this to Stellarium, and we will. So hopefully this doesn't lead to more disappointment, but we will.
Are we cursed with the Eagle Nebula?
I think we are. Yeah. I think we are cursed here, but we're moving slightly down the near to the constellation Scotum, the Shield. And this is the lovely Eagle Nebula. This made the Times magazine back in 2000. It was in 1994. It was one of the first images that they'd taken after Hubble got its glasses, like mine, because it was short-sighted, and they actually took the Pillars of Creation. And that was on the cover of Times magazine. Now, I don't know if you guys have actually heard, but there is a slight issue with Hubble. Hubble's got an issue with their payload computer, and the backup computer is also seen to be stuffed, and it seems to be the memory. And this is not a simple turn it on, turn it off, or do a Windows Windows update pullback. It's pretty stuffed.
I'm just laughing. I'm trying to stop myself laughing at the technical terminology you used there, Matt.
Yeah.
Couple of stuff.
Yeah.
No, hopefully we'll get it back.
Up crap creek without a paddle at the moment. There is another backup computer they can use, but they are getting started to get really, really worried that they might have actually lost it. And unfortunately, there's no real way to get up there at the moment. And if they can't recover it, it will have a Viking burial. They've got some rockets on there which they can fire to deorbit, and we will basically watch Hubble burn up in the atmosphere, and hopefully Esperance can again catch it. So catch bits and pieces of it like it did with Skylab. So
yeah, it'd be very sad if it happened, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but what about considering the fact that James Webb is supposed to finally get up into space in November, knocking on wood this time, it's a little bit sad that they couldn't pass the baton, but hopefully they'll continue to try and get it back online, because it's done an amazing job, and I just don't know what it would be like if we never had it. And I think it's one of the last of those great space telescopes that we had, like Spitzer and Chandra and that. So yeah. But so this is the Eagle Nebula. It is also known as the Queen Star Nebula and the Spire as well. So you can actually see the Spire right here. And it is about 7,000 light years away from us, and it's got about 460 stars already made. It's 70 light years by 55 light years across, so it is slightly smaller, and there is that cluster in the middle with the 146 stars is about 15 light years across as well. So it is, the stars are about 1 to 2 million years old. So again, very, very young. It's a very, very young nebula as well. So it is illuminated by the ultraviolet light from these young stars. So it is more of an emissions nebula as well. And it's so surprisingly, the actual nebula is also emitting strong X-ray radiations as well. So it was 1995 that the Pillars of Creation was taken. So
wow,
yeah.
95.
95.
Wow,
yeah.
That's a few years ago now, isn't it? It's amazing how long Hubble's been going for.
I know. I was 9 years old, Roger. Yeah. It was Jeff Hess.
Actually,
yeah.
This so I guess if you want to switch. Oops. Sorry, I've lost my screen. 2 seconds. You may want to. There we go. Switch over to my screen map. For what it's worth, this is the Eagle Nebula through cloud. So maybe we'll have to try it on.
Yeah, but you can actually see the Pillars of Creation there.
Look, you can. Yeah. So there's a few things wrong with this. One, we're looking through cloud. The stars have halo, and we don't have good definition on the Eagle Nebula. 2, you might see up in the top left here the box showing the green box inside the white box to show how small an area I've zoomed into there, because in desperation this evening I've gone back to using the little refractor, the 90mm refractor. So I'm at a focal length of 600mm with the ZWO camera, and so it's quite a wide field. And the Eagle Nebula is actually quite small, apparent size. But I'll just illustrate. I've got a little story here of something that happened today.
Yep.
So this is a shot which I took of the Eagle Nebula earlier this week or the week before. And look, there's a few things wrong with this, but one of them is the spikes on the stars. That's just blooming, and that's because the camera on my larger telescope, which this is, So a smaller field of view, a focal length of about 2,180 millimeters, so 2.18 meters. So really zoomed in. A nice kind of focal length for the Eagle Nebula. But the camera has a non-anti-blooming chip, which is good for research and sensitivity, not good for pretty pictures. So you got these blooms on the bright stars. But ignoring that, what colour does it look like to you, Matt?
It's very bluish.
It is very bluish, isn't it?
Yeah. A lot more bluish than... It's even with the naked eye, if you were to see this, it would be less blue than this. Yeah.
That's that's a very good way to put it. So this is particularly blue, and I had a heck of a time trying to process this image, thinking, what have I done wrong here? I can't understand it. I couldn't get it to be the nice red that it's meant to be without it looking awful red. And so I thought, look, when I go to the block today, which I did, I'm going to just pull off the camera. I'm not going to upset the rotation. I'm just going to unscrew the screws, pull off the camera, and check the filter wheel to check if I've got the right filters in the right spots, because I haven't used this camera much in the last year. And I ended up having to actually pull the whole camera off because the fan was dead. So I thought, okay, fine, I'm going to take the camera off, take it onto the bench, swap the fan over for a new one, since it got rusty and died. And as I take the camera off, I think, that's odd, there's something loose inside. And I think, how could a screw have come loose from the camera? Oh well, I take it in and I sort of swap over the fan and I pick it up and go, oh, it's still rattling from that screw. And I shake it a bit, because you sort of think, oh, the screw's just there. It'll shake out of the camera, right? And it didn't. And I thought, okay, well, I guess I might as well check the filters. So I open up the filter wheel to have a look at the filters, and this is what I saw. This here.
Not the flower, but...
I took the disc out, and what I've got left is a piece of glass, which is the blue filter, on the bottom of the filter wheel. The problem with that
I'm guessing you went...
Pretty much. I went, oh, that's not a screw, that's a filter. Yeah. Wow, it isn't crap. Because I had been just shaking the camera around. So that filter there is meant to be screwed inside a little housing in the filter wheel. I have no idea how the thread there's like a threaded ring which holds each filter into the filter housing, and you have to do about 10 laps of the thread. So somehow, over the course of the last 2 years that this has been installed, that has undone, and the ring was sitting next to it in the filter housing, and the filter's just come completely out.
Is it scratched up?
So it was surprisingly all right, actually.
Okay, good.
So that is why this looks blue, because what we've got here is an LRGB image which has the correct amounts of red, the correct amounts of green, the correct amounts of luminance, which was infrared, but it's got blue as essentially clear. So hence so 2 nights ago I did a dry run of tonight's live stream for Matt, where I went through and acquired images of every object, and tonight I've gone, well, I can't really use any of them because I have no blue channel for them because they're all clear.
But at least we get to see really cool. It's really cool to see the pillars up close like that, because over the next tens of 20,000 years, they will actually be blown away from a supernova that's nearby. So.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you've got, and this is the actual filter wheel, isn't it?
This is the actual filter wheel, yeah. So for people who don't understand, don't have experience with this is a wheel which turns around inside the camera to put the right filter in front of the mono chip at any given time. And that blue one there had just completely fallen out. So anyway, it's back in now. But we have cloud tonight, and I haven't done any flat frames for it because anyway, it's a long story.
And those pillars actually stretch across about 4 light years. That's the amazing thing. Is like you don't think it's that big, but it is actually. 4 light years is like going from here to the Alpha Centauri system. That's how big big those, yeah, and it is, those columns are actually interstellar dust and hydrogen gas, and they will make possibly make new stars, hopefully so before that shockwave that they can actually see coming from one of the nearby supernovas.
So Matt, I think to finish up on the M16, the Eagle, I think we do have to do it again sometime because we haven't given it proper justice here.
No, we haven't.
And I will hopefully get either this camera going with H alpha, maybe do some narrowband on it. I tried H alpha just before doing this luminance shot, and it was just black with the cloud.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get some color images next time.
All right, cool. And we've got one last image, don't we, Roger?
Yeah. Well, I've got a. What have we got next?
It's the the butt of all jokes. Yeah.
the butt of all jokes of Matt. So Matt has wanted to do it. Yeah. Are you going to explain, or am I going to, Matt?
I think you took the photo, so you get to do the joke. Yeah.
Okay, so Matt has forever, for as long as I can remember, wanted to do the Bug Nebula in live streams, and I keep telling Matt, "You're nuts. Why the hell would you want to look at the Bug Nebula?" And he's like, "It's cool. It looks like a bug. It's this nice tight nebula with good definition or whatever."
It doesn't look like a ring or anything like that. Yep.
No. And I say, no, it looks like a bug squashed on my windscreen at 100 kilometers per hour at best. So anyway, I took some photos of it the other night to show Matt, and let's see, I think I've got it up here somewhere. Here we go. This is luminance only because I didn't think it was worth more than that. Sorry, Matt.
But see, it's still a bug. It might have been squished on the windscreen of
It's got this sort of velocity flat to it. I think. So this field of view, to give you an idea, this field of view which we're looking at here is quite small. It's about 14 arc minutes by 10 arc minutes. So it's at that 2,180 millimeter focal length, really zoomed in, and a small chip. And so this object is small. It's a planetary. I'm correct, aren't I, Matt? That it's a planetary nebula.
Yeah, it's a planetary nebula. It's a bipolar one. So you can. It's not that it's got mental issues. It's just that it's actually when we say bipolar, it's going off in two directions. So.
Yeah, I guess to its credit, you can quite clearly see that bipolar aspect of it here in this shot. It's just lacking in fine detail there, and it's so small. But there you go. That is the Bug Nebula. Look, I don't know. People can have a vote, I guess, as to whether we do color on this sometime. I've never tried hydrogen alpha on it, but I'm not sure how does hydrogen alpha go on a planetary nebula. Not sure. It's not an emission nebula.
No. But it's good to show that this will be what ends up happening to our sun at the end of its life. At the center of that nebula is a white dwarf of a star that has come to the end of its life. It's not big enough to go supernova, but we've been able to see that the layers have actually come off, and so this is what it will look like at the end of our once our sun has passed on. So it is the actual star is quite actually amazing in that it's one of the hottest stars that we've ever seen. It's about 200. It's pretty roasty. It's about 250,000 degrees Celsius. So it must have formed, implying that the star which formed it must have been very large. So coming towards where supernovas would have happened. But it's nice to see. this is one of the other different types of nebulas that exist in the universe as well. So
Yeah, look, I am a big fan of planetary nebulas. So it would be good to do some more planetaries. I used to back in, gee, I don't know, must have been the 2005 timeframe with my LX200 and my ST7 SB camera. I used to hunt down all the different planetary nebulas because they are interesting. There's something different about every single one of them. A bit like galaxies. I love them because every single one is different.
The Eskimo one's nice as well. But one thing...
the Eskimo, the Saturn, the spare tire.
This one, they've actually found crystalline silicates and crystalline water ice and also quartz in it as well. So it's amazing what you can actually find in these ones, And the lobes have actually been measured at 263 kilometers per second. So that's definitely 6 points off 6 demerit points. I think they crush your car at that stage. So
yeah. Now, to finish up, should I show a couple of wide field images which have a bit more colour to them, Matt?
Yep, let's. Yeah, I think we've done a lot of black and white photos. Enough black and white photos for tonight. So.
Yep. Alrighty. So recently I've been out taking a few shots with my dish SLRs and mirrorless cameras. So there's a few nice ones I'm just going to flick through here. This one out of my block where I also have the observatory where I host third-party telescopes. This is the Milky Way rising here in the east. There was a night which was just fantastic where everywhere you turned you would see a good image and be able to take it, and it just turns out right. That doesn't happen all the time. Some nights you just give up, but this night was really nice. And the objects we've been looking at are in here tonight, so you can quite clearly see there, that's the Lagoon Nebula right there. So there was that one.
Do you know what was the settings you used for that one, Roger?
That one there. These were all taken with my little Fuji because I actually left the Canon doing another series of shots and I was just walking around with the Fuji. So it's the Fuji XP30, 30-second exposures, I'm pretty sure, f2.0.
Yeah.
And I would say it was just the one exposure.
Yeah. And it wasn't on the tracking mount either, or was it just...
It was on a tracking mount. Yeah. Oh, actually, no. You know what? It wasn't, because the tracking mount had the Canon on it. I'll show you the image which the Canon was doing.
Yeah.
If I have it here we go. This guy here. So the Canon I left photographing this shot, and it was on the Vixen Polari, which is a wide field tracking mount. And it was doing 60-second exposures for this. This is the same part of the sky, just a bit wider field of view. You can see the Lagoon Nebula there. So this one is using my Canon 6D and the Tamron 15 to 30 at 15 mil.
Yep.
So yeah, that was one.
Just looking at the street sign as well, you're on Milky Way Road.
Right, yeah, Milky Way and In Your Eyes. Yeah, that's for people who haven't seen on my my Facebook page. That's a prop which I've installed at my property. You'll see more of that prop over the coming years, I'm sure. And while I was taking that shot, I actually sat down on the ground because the camera was really low and I had to sit down on the ground and sort of crouch down to look at the 6D screen. And while I was doing that, I noticed this angle here. And actually, so that camera there, which you see in the photo, is actually taking the shot you saw before of the street signs in the Milky Way. And I was sort of jammed between that and the gate. And I thought when I was sitting there, you know what, this is actually a really nice perspective. It's like got that farm feel because of the gate and nice dark country skies. So that's just another. Yeah, the Magellanic clouds look fantastic. They actually look quite big there because of the sort of perspective of the fence and gate.
Yeah.
So yeah, I quite like that one.
Very meta. Camera taking a photo of a camera taking nightscapes.
Yeah, look, should I say that I got my phone out and took a photo of the camera taking the photo of the camera?
Oh, nice. And and I'm guessing that there's a bit of cloud there, so that's why some of the brighter stars have got that nice little fuzziness around them. Well, were you using that little square filter that you?
Yeah, look, I do sometimes use the filter, the diffuser filter. I didn't in this case. There is a little bit of cloud around. You can see a little bit on the horizon there.
Yeah.
But it was pretty clear. So, there's not too much halo there.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's about it for my images tonight. I think, Matt, I've just checked the. We can. Yeah, no, I did check, and I cancelled the shots from the live. Out of the telescope because it is quite cloudy. I can see on the cameras showing me the actual scene of the observatory and the night sky. I can see a couple of bright stars tonight, but that's about it.
Nice. Well, thanks, Roger, for that. And just a heads up, guy. I'm just saying thanks for showing those images for tonight. So, but and also, guys, just letting you know that to keep an eye on the Facebook page and also website as well, because Roger and I are heading up north for Gascoyne Junction trip again this year, and we're looking to do some some nightscape workshops in Kalbarri and also in Carnarvon as well at Rocky Pool. So we'll try. They're not ready to go on sale just yet, but we will be looking to do some workshops up there if you're interested in coming along and getting away from the cold weather and getting up and seeing the north part of Australia and getting some nice warm weather as well. So just look out for the next week or so and to grab your tickets if you wanted to come along. So, and yeah, it would be great to see you guys on there. All right, guys. So I think we'll leave that there for tonight. And if you did enjoy your time here, thanks, and thanks for joining us. And if you could like and subscribe to the channel, that would be like the video and subscribe to us. That would be fantastic. That way you can know that you'll be able to see all of these. The next one we will be doing will be on a Wednesday I think it's the 14th. I think it is. Yes, in about a week and a bit. So what we'll do is we'll see you then, and have a great time in the meantime. And hopefully we'll be able to lock down, proper lockdown on Tuesday as well. All right, guys. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you later. Bye.